Right there, man. We got this guy back. I didn't think we'd get him twice in one lifetime, Mike Muse. This is amazing.
Yo, he's here.
2 times.
I'm really popular in the hood because I know this guy. I tell him our friendship runs deeper than it ever did, but who cares? He's not there to deny it. Big fan of this guy. I know DB was excited when his name came across the list. DB, you want to do the honors.
Absolutely, because I picked that trailer for The Walking Dead because I found an interesting parallel how there's a part in it where it says we're putting the world back together again because Norman was one of our last guests that we had on the show before we vacated the studios because of COVID.
Oh.
It's my fault. It's my fault.
Oh, my gosh.
Thanks, Norman. No, I'm just kidding. But he's done so much work. I mean, the Boondock Saints, which I heard may be coming back. We can get into that. He's also part of a legendary video game that will never see the light of day, PT, and then he reunited with Hideo Kojima in Death Stranding. But, of course, he's part of the final season of Walking Dead, but there's also going to be a spinoff, which we can talk about as well. But now today, he's here to talk about his book, The Ravaged, dedicated to his son, which I thought was very beautiful. Yeah. And he's back here today. Norman Reedus.
Nice to see you, man. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I feel like I need a nap after that intro.
Damn.
There's a lot of stuff.
Well, that's because you did a lot of work, and we didn't even tap into all of it. You know what I mean?
You've been winning a long time.
Yeah, and thank you, man. Really, what you did is we got 2 years off in the studio because of you. That virus you brought up in here. Now we're back because of you. You're one of our first guests. Dedicating the book to your son, that meant a lot, right?
Yeah, when he was little, he woke me up one morning. We had a place in Chinatown, and he was shaking me awake, and he goes, Papa, I love you like the ocean. And he was really little, so I kind of put that everywhere. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, it was really cute.
Dude, it's deep.
Yeah. Well, now he's older and doesn't really give a shit. But,
how old is he now?
21 now.
Oh, no, he don't care.
Ooh, do you have a drink with him?
I would probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It's there's been a few times where I'm walking back to my apartment from a night out, and he'll walk by the other side of the street, and I'm like, these two worlds are colliding. I don't know if I like this right now.
Right.
So,
do y'all talk relationships?
Yeah, we do. And me and his mother are still really good friends.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm kind of friends with all my exes, which is a good thing, I think. But we kind of get into his relationships. I think Mom really gets into his relationships, maybe too much. And I try, and he's like, "It's fine, Dad. It's fine, Dad."
I was hoping you could see. This is interesting. We had a debate the other day, me and a bunch of friends, about fathers who move on from the relationship, but you still have a young kid who lives with the mom. So when Mother's Day comes around and the kid is 7, do you give the kid money to buy the mother a gift, even if you're in a relationship with somebody else?
No. We don't really do it that way. I mean, I get her a gift, of course.
You would get her a gift. Okay, so you still get her a gift no matter what, even if you're in. Thank you.
She got flowers. Was it yesterday? She got her stuff.
Even yesterday at 21, your son is 21. You still got the mother of your child a gift.
But not through him. He's on his own.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But you respect her, right?
That's
course,
nice.
Yeah. I don't
That's
know.
We always,
you don't know.
I thought child support was, part of the gift.
You know what, Sway?
It's appreciation.
This is
child
why we got
appreciation.
That's the gift.
The debate wasn't with
That's the
Sway,
gift of
Norman,
life.
but this is how this whole thing started. We started with
Norman was paying child support. You right?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty cool when it comes to stuff like that. Okay. But he's always been the type that would make a present, not buy a present.
Got it.
He's kind of that guy.
Okay.
He's artsy fartsy like me.
Got you. Okay.
I love it.
I love it though. That's good.
Okay. All right, man.
Sway said child support.
So
was
y'all,
a
you can
gift.
save some money, Norman. Don't grow on trees.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
You got to get the gift. That's what it's all about. You also have this great show. We was talking off mic about it. Ride with Norman Reedus on AMC. And you go out on bikes, and you take people out on bikes and have these interesting conversations, and it's very organic. How did that come about?
I ride a motorcycle every day to Walking Dead, and one of the producers on the show, it's always insurance. Should you be riding a bike to work? And one of the producers, the executives at AMC, came up with an idea, sort of a Bourdain style show, where we travel around and. We originally did it, and it was kind of a gearhead show, talking about engines and seats and whatnot. And everywhere we went, it became like a fan invasion. That people just, first off, we roll we roll in like 6 Escalades and a security, like there's no way to hide it, you know. But then they would just, you know, jump all over us, and we sort of changed the show to include them, so it became sort of a people, us out on the road show, and it became way more fun, to be honest. But I was in New Zealand with Josh Brolin right when the pandemic hit.
Wait a minute, he just done on us. Did he say, give him an owl, give him an owl.
Hanging out in New Zealand with Josh.
With Josh Brolin, you know, Norman. Look, it's so normal for him. He's like, what's the big deal? Right?
Yeah.
Another stunt.
So, but you was in New Zealand.
We were in New Zealand right when the pandemic hit. We were on our way to Italy, and I stopped in LA, and AMC said, "You're not going anywhere. Italy's on lockdown," and that's when this book started. So I started writing the book while I had all this free time, and I mean, about every year someone comes to me and asks me to write a book about my life, and I don't want to get beat up, so I don't want to do that. So they, you know, so
Wow.
Do I get like a noise?
No, that was an actual person right
Yeah,
there.
that was me. I can do it again for you. Wow.
There you go.
But that's interesting, yeah, because so many people have like memoirs. You know what I mean? We've become so accustomed to seeing that be the book route for a celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you chose not to.
Yeah, my attorney was like, "What do you mean a book of fiction? What are you talking about?" But you know, I have a production company, and I'm always looking for things to be a television show or a movie or whatnot. And so I have all these stories that have started, and there's a theme in the book where, you know, like you were talking. Thank you for reading it, by the way.
No,
That's
absolutely.
super cool.
Yeah.
But there's a theme where people are finding a sense of family. Either they're running to something or running from something, and they sort of, in the places least likely, they find a sense of family, and they kind of put their own 2 feet on the ground. So that's kind of what it's about.
When you mention that, I think of the story of Anne. You know, and Anne was someone who, you could tell this better than I can, that fled her home after experiencing violence at the hand of her big brother, and found herself train hopping, you know, with a character by the name of Cinnamon, and then Trot, which was her best friend, right?
Yeah.
And in it, you're just hearing all of these metaphoric conversations to me as I'm reading this book that trained to me, and the way I interpret it was your journey in life, you know, and all the different type of trains that you could jump on, a grainer or a tanker or these different things, you know, that you could kind of, train hoppers, they got to find the best, container to jump into. You jump into an empty container, like I can't think of a container where you could jump into and they'll fill it with rocks. You might be asleep in that container. It might kill you. But it's about the choices you make and what you learn from these choices. And in the case of Anne, she found out that she didn't find family with blood relatives. She found family with friends, right?
Yeah. Wow, I love that you got that. Yeah.
No, yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm all over you, brother.
Yeah, it's great.
Sway trying to go to New Zealand with you the next time. That's all.
You can come anytime.
So what I was thinking when I was reading that, I was like, how does this is applicable to your life?
You know, the hunter story is a lot of my life. You know, how that opens up with a fight at a motorcycle shop, you know, over an animal, that happened to me. Some of his tattoos are my tattoos. My father was a traveling salesman and wasn't around a lot, but would drop these like stories, you know, on me, and I'd be like, what the hell is he talking about? And then later on, I met somebody, that makes sense. That was a lesson there. So a lot of his stories me, and then the businessman, that story is bananas. Because I'm doing ride, and I'm coming from Costa Rica to Uruguay, and how that works is the bikes that I use, they leapfrog locations, and so A unit will wrap up in Costa Rica, they'll send B unit, I'll jump on a plane sort of last minute, race and start the process, and then A unit catches up and we start the show. So I'm sitting on a plane covered in dust because it's a dirt episode in Costa Rica, and I have a backpack on the ground, there's sand coming out of it, I must smell horrible, and I'm sitting on the plane, there's a businessman next to me, he's got these little short shorts on, right, and he's kind of looking at me, and people are going up and down and they're asking for a picture and whatnot, and after a while he goes, "Who are you?" And I said, "Oh, I'm on a TV show, that's what that is." And so we start talking, and his mother died, and he runs one of the largest Fortune 500 companies in the world, right? I didn't even ask him what it was. I was like, if he's going to tell me, I'll let him tell me. So his mother dies and says, you should run away. Do me a favor, run away. Doesn't know what she means. Then a year later, his wife dies, and he doesn't have family. He doesn't really know what to do with himself. He tells everybody, hey, I'm going to go away for a while. Can you watch the company? They say, sure, take your time. So he'd meet somebody. They'd say, you should go to Chile. He's like, okay. You should go to Argentina. All right. And he's sitting there with tears in his eyes, and he goes, I've spent my whole life trying to make money. He goes, I wasted my whole life. And it hit me. And so I ran with that story a little bit. And there was parts of his story that I was going to intertwine with Cinnamon and Ann. But it hit me. And it just stayed in my head, and I kind of ended up morphing this whole idea that way.
Wow.
That was this book is a series of stories too, right? And I read a review on it that said it's a quick, rapid pace read, and it really was. So that's why I was able to get through the book last night on the plane. I flew in from Oakland to here just to see you. By the way, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Thank you.
Still bucking for that trip.
I'm still trying to get on that ride, baby. I'm starting to get on that ride, bud.
You know the East Bay Dragons?
Yes.
That was one of my first episodes of Ride.
With the East Bay Dragons,
Yeah.
reputable heritage bike club out of Oakland.
Okay.
They do a lot in the community.
Yeah.
They're legendary.
Yeah.
We had a conversation with a young man by the name of Wallow, who has a very big, popular podcast called $1 Million Worth of Game, and we were talking about the money that's come since they've had so much success. And he said to me, Sway, the money don't mean nothing if you don't have family.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what came to mind. You could be the richest man in the world, but without anyone to share it with, what difference does it make, right?
Totally true.
You ever felt like that with your success? Like, I'm having all this success.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I've done 12 years on a television show. I've done the other show while I'm doing that show. I do art shows all over the world all the time. I have a production company, did the book, I've done musical things. Like, I'm always doing something. And I have a friend of mine in LA named Baltazar, and he's like, dude, you need to stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I know. Then I meet that guy, and then I'm like, I need to stop and smell the roses. And people are like, when are you gonna retire? I'm like, tomorrow. I've been saying that for years, but I'm just one of those guys that I can't sit still. I think I don't know, but I didn't grow up with a real heavy sense of family, but now that I have kids of my own, that's probably why I'm friends with all the exes, and I like to keep everyone around me. So that's it's very true. Like, I think about it a lot. Actually.
This book it feels semi-autobiographical in terms of right, experiences and what you learn from it, not the actual circumstances of these characters, but. Yeah. I'm hearing what you learned through your life through these characters.
Yeah, and I had help. I'm not going to pretend I'm
Frank Bill.
Yeah, who's amazing.
Yeah.
And I went through several people before him, like where we got into it, and then I'm like, you're not going to work. And then we, that over and over. I'm like, help me paint a room. Like, help me. I want to smell smoke in the air in a bar. And they'll be like, well, what happens? A plane fall out of the sky? I'm like, no, dude, just help me paint the room. Frank is a whiskey drinking Southern dude, and he's, there's a lot of powerlifting in the thing. That ain't me. That's Frank.
Frank.
That's
okay,
Frank.
I was like,
and I'm like, can we bring back the powerlifting a little bit?
I was gonna say you're quite eloquent as a writer, bro.
It was
Frank?
a lot of work. It was
Okay.
a lot of work.
Okay.
I won't pretend I wasn't there, because I definitely was. But there's elements that sort of seep in here and there. But he was really fun to work with, and we just started a second one. Not me and him, me and somebody else.
Someone,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, look, we got Norman Reedus here. The book is called The Ravaged, with Frank Bill. I'll be remiss if I didn't let DB. You see him over there. He's aching to get in there. DB.
You kind of started off with the question I wanted to ask, where you brought up how the beginning of the book starts in this Harley Davidson shop, and this guy gets into a fight and everything like that. And that was similar to last time when you came by. You talked about how you got discovered. You were working in a Harley shop, and then somebody suggested you take acting courses and things like that. So I picked up on that early on. And then there's also that kind of underlying sense of discovery that you just touched on as well, with finding family through friends or other stories that people live similar lives and things like that. So with The Walking Dead and everything like that, how do you find the balance of making your work still meaningful and fulfilling for you, but not working solely for the purpose of I need to uphold this lifestyle or live a certain way? Like I want my life to feel like I'm doing something meaningful.
Yeah, I didn't realize it till the book was done that my trajectory of storyline kind of is similar to Daryl. Like he finds a sense of family on the road and whatnot. But I'm one of those guys. Like I can live off like $30 a month, like no problem. Like I've done it most of my life. I don't. It's not really the lifestyle. I got enough money, and like you know what I mean. Like how much is enough, but it's not really that. But I started Walking Dead. Like it's important for me to bookend it for some weird reason. Like I helped birth that baby, and I want to see it grow all the way. So to me, it became very personal, that story. I think it's not like a movie where you do something and you give it your all and you move on to the next. Like people have seen me in real time for 12 years, like grow gray hair on my chin. Like that's crazy, Yeah. And I've taken so much of other characters on that show, and I make decisions now as Daryl based on Scott Wilson or Rick, like what I learned from people along the way. So it's become super personal to me. So I don't know. I think there is something about working for a big money making machine, and everybody's an action figure, and we used to think that Rick and I used to read that book The Road to each other. Was because we thought
McCarthy.
Yeah, and John Hillcoat made a movie about it. And we thought that we would be super skinny and have like 3 teeth and we'd just be crazy animals. We thought that's where we were headed, and the show got bigger and bigger and bigger, and everyone was an action figure. Everyone's pants started getting tighter. There started being makeup on people, and I'm like, wait, where are we going? What are we doing?
Everybody's pants started getting tighter.
T-shirts,
that's the sign.
Rippable T-shirts.
If you look, I'm still wearing the same pants from season 2, I think.
Wow.
Of that show, which is crazy. But me and Scott Wilson, we're like, let's just let our hair grow. Let's go. We're gonna get animals. Let's just do animal. And sometimes like you're the only one left doing it, a little bit. But it's I get it that you work for something that's they're there to make money, and you help that keep going, but you try to hang on to something real at the same time.
Norman Reedus is with us. Tracy G, you want to jump in?
Yeah. I'm curious, although I kind of have a hunch I know where you'll go with this, but confirm. Why did you choose to make The Ravaged a book versus like a screenplay or something written for television?
Well, I was offered a book deal.
Okay.
So that's why.
Start there.
Tracy.
Start there.
A quick answer right there, boy.
And there's that thing where you own the IP. So if it's an original thing, you own the IP and you can do anything with it. Like if I'm trying to get a book that you wrote, then I got to pay you to get the thing, and we got to talk about it, and we got to agree on everything. So if I own it from the get-go, then
got it. Long thinking.
Yeah.
DB, you mentioned a spinoff from Walking Dead.
Yeah, they haven't announced a title, but of course, like there's sort of the excitement of the stories continuing, but there's also a little bit of fans are, I guess, upset may be a strong word, but that it's like you're letting us know that certain characters are not going to be affected by what happens in this season.
Right.
So it's hard to kind of walk that line of there's something coming in the future, but also not spoiling what's going to happen in the final season. So that's kind of a hard line to dance on with fans and a series that has continued for this long.
That ain't me.
Right.
I probably would have preferred them not announcing that I was going to live through the whole thing or certain characters, but they, it's all business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They need to make the announcements to sell the advertising in that spot before the thing happens, so it can be paid for. Like it's all business. So we're lucky that our business cares about the story, but it is a business, and maybe they're lying to you. I don't know.
What about Boondock Saints? Can you expand on that?
That was really fun to make. I don't know if it fits anymore, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know. And that director burnt a lot of bridges, to be honest with you. Did you ever see a film called Overnight?
No, I did not.
I'll watch that.
Okay.
So next time we come here, just watch Overnight.
No, I got you.
He kind of the cover of it is him holding a Super 8 camera to his head like he's making the wrong choices in life. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I think it would be fun to do another one. I don't know yet. No one's giving me any paperwork to sign.
Got it.
Norman Reedus, man, this dude answers everything we ask him. I like this, man.
With a great voice.
With a
too.
great
I
voice.
know.
and
I
no-
was like, man, his voice, yo.
It's good.
Is that the real voice,
Yeah.
man? Is that like, you know, Michael
A
Jackson
play
had a
voice?
couple of voices.
I'm gonna leave here.
Moonwalk. See a moonwalk out the building.
Sway will come into work next week and be like, yo, I saw this great animation. And some DB will be like, that's Norman. He's like, what? He tricked me. I didn't know that was his voice.
Yeah.
Mike News, get in here, man. You can't let this man walk out without asking him one question.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm really curious about the thought process of the CEO that you sat next to on the plane that kind of inspired the character in this book. And this idea was, to reconcile how to enjoy what you have but live life to its fullest. I mean, you almost dovetails into your life. And I think a lot of us are wrestling with that. Like this pandemic has taught us a lot to sit still, right, and appreciate life. How does a journey end, right? Does this character, and maybe even for yourself personally, like how do you get yourself free? Are you continuously on this journey of choosing self, or how do you reconcile choosing self with the demands of the world?
Me personally, or that character in the book?
Both, actually.
Yeah, well, the character in the book does the opposite of what you think he's going to do. He makes a decision to not be him anymore, and so when he gets to a point where he can go back to that lifestyle of his big house and easy stuff, and he goes no, and he runs. So I just gave away the ending of the book. With me, I think it's hard for me to do something that isn't personal. I end up there anyway. I've done a lot of photography books and I do a lot of art shows all over the world all the time, and those do really well selling wise. But they'll be like, let's get on the next one. Let's do the next one. You ready for the next one? And I'll have hard drives full of photographs, but until I have the group that I want and the direction I want to go, I tell everyone to hold up. So unless it means something, I can't really do it. I'm not this guy just throwing
it out there.
Yeah. I'm not good at that because then I got to talk about it. So I don't know. It kind of works in a way that's taken me a long time to get comfortable with.
I like
to be
that.
honest.
Just let your North Star guide you.
Yeah.
Like your personal intuition.
Norman Reedus, man, we could sit and talk with you all day because your voice is so calming. I'm
Yeah,
just
no,
asking you.
I'm in a
I'm asking you
trance.
anything, man. Do you know what a columbus cloud is? Do you know the different type of clouds there are?
Ooh, I want to hear that. Share, please.
You know about
Your
clouds?
voice is healing.
The ones full of water that are about to dump rain. Is that?
Yeah,
the
those.
cumulus?
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
different-
there
Do I
are
know
eye
about them?
clouds.
Not really.
Oh,
but,
okay.
yeah.
I'll just see if I
I'm
can
thinking
answer
how
you.
to sell
Sway
Doritos.
just-
and
What about
Sprite.
iClouds? You know about iClouds?
Not really, to be honest. I'm not really.
What
good
about
at
cloudy judgment? All right, you know.
I'm well aware of that.
What about clouds in your coffee?
That I know the best. To be honest.
Well, Norman, thank you for joining us today, bro.
Pleasure.
And this book is an excellent read. I'm reading through it, and I'm hearing a lot of gems. I'm hearing a lot of one-liners that I could say to my 23-year-old daughter. Even when Ann was asking, how do you know when to jump off on a train, when they were on the train and explaining the different trains, how do you know when to jump off? I remember there was a part on one of the stories where the father had given the son advice about always treat women well, always treat animals well, was it? Right?
Yeah.
What kind of advice do you give your son?
I'll tell you a quote real quick that this girl over here, Jess, taught me.
Jess?
Jess.
Hey, Jess.
Jess, what up?
Just in the building.
What up, Jay Boogie?
And then she taught me one that's is the juice worth the squeeze?
Right. Yeah. That's
It's
a good
my
one.
new favorite quote.
Wow.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
That's
There it
good.
is.
It's great.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
You got around.
That's a sticky one. That's good.
Juice worth the squeeze.
Yep.
Ask
Shit.
yourself.
That's
Yep.
dope.
To pause.
Yeah.
That helps with discernment.
That
Yep.
sounds like a black person said that, Jess. You still that? I did. Okay. Who you get it from?
I got it from a young man named Joaquin Consuelos.
Joaquin Casuelos. It's the juice worth the squeeze. Thank you for leaving us with that, Jill, brother.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you, Jess. Thank you, Joaquin.
Jess.
Appreciate you. Norman Reedus, make sure you get the book.
Who has a great art name, by the way. So you can buy a Norman Reedus. Somebody can have. You said you do art
know what's
shows.
crazy? That video game you were talking about. They just
Right,
did my
yeah,
whole digital DNA so that they can put me in movies for the rest of my life after I'm gone. So yeah, you can buy a Norman Reedus. Probably.
Wow.
That's a great
that?
art name.
Yeah, it's
Is
a
that
good
a Norman
NFT
Reedus? Like,
too.
it's good.
Is that good? Really?
Yeah, it's good.
Norman's good. God, I love
Yes,
you.
Norman
Yeah,
Reedus.
that's
Yeah.
good. It's a good.
Reedus.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
Norman Reedus.
Your art's in the
Probably
NFT
beautiful.
space too?
I've been asked to do it, but I haven't really done it. Walking Dead put some things in there, but I haven't
Yeah.
done my own.
Okay, in time.
Nice.
I don't totally understand it or why, but I might.
Well, man.
Just do it. All the cool kids are doing it, Norman.
Yeah.
Snoop just bought a basketball team off NFTs.
Cool kids thing.
Yeah, I think he
Ice
owns
Cube
like,
shit.
The big three.
Yeah.
He bought 2.
Yes, all using NFTs.
You a Snoop fan,
Really?
right?
I am.
Yeah. You should have him on the show.
I was talking about Snoop this
Facts.
morning. I was like, I think he has a rule where his management and publicists and everybody else can't reach him after 8 p.m. I think I
Wow.
read somewhere. Like I got kids. Like after
See?
8, like stop it.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Thank you.
He got, but he
Run and
got.
never look back. That's
Boundaries,
really what he
baby.
did. I got my money already.
He knows when to jump off.
He knows.
No one's to fold up.
Snoop.
Snoop got that. I'm going to sleep money.
Exactly.
Hey Norman, thanks for
Thank
coming
you,
through,
Norman.
man.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Pleasure,
brother.
man.
Pleasure's ours. Pleasure's ours. We got a little celebrity wire coming up.
That's right. That's right. It is going to be crazy. I'm going to tell you more about Snoop and his son and a stolen car.
Shade 45.